Hello everybody, this is Jet Black Bebop of Genesis Device. This is the advanced occlusion block tutorial. We're going to go into a little more detail on how to use occlusion blocks. This map is Loudmouth Canyon. I'm going to use it as an example. It's made by Stubborn Puppet. Here you can see there's a lot of blue. We're in the editor here. Those are all the occlusion blocks set along the sides, through the rock. He's placed occlusion blocks all over this map, along left and right side, along the rock faces, on ramps, all over the place. And this is a great example of the benefit of the occlusion block. He got this map pretty much towards the green, where it was pretty solid in the yellow. So let's look at some of these occlusion blocks. Here's one here. You'll notice at this ramp going upwards. Now when you're standing in the game here and you're running up this ramp, it actually blocks a good chunk of the map behind it. It seems like it wouldn't do too much, but any angle that comes up vertically you can use to basically put an occlusion block in, and it'll block the background. Like for instance the side here, he's got the sides of the cliff covered, so all this background where he has bushes and hills and terrain in the background, that all actually will be blocked when you're in the canyon, so it won't draw the background. You can't see it anyways, so it works out fine. The back end here where he has a lot of rocks, he put in quite a few here. Depending on where you're standing, some of them help you, some of them don't do a lot, but overall the benefit is good. It helps bring down the frame rate, blocks rocks and things behind. So when you're in the base, especially when you're in the base and you're trying to defend, it's good to have a great frame rate. Now if you look, jump into the maps, you'll actually get a better benefit. When you're down in the map, you'll get it'll show, like here you can see it's very green. That's because when you're standing on the ground and surrounded by the occlusion blocks, they block everything out very well. When you fly around with the camera, looking around in the editor, a lot of times you're up a little higher and you actually don't block the background. Now the other map I want to use as an example, this one has bad frame rate. This is Waterworld. It's a very popular map, very creative map. It's very highly rated, but it also suffers badly from frame rate issues, especially here inside the Waterworld base. As you look around, you'll see my meter is running well into the orange and the red. Even out on the ship here, it's not too bad, but still pretty bad frame rate issues. So if we look around, think, well, how would we benefit from this? Aside from putting in a lot of small occlusion blocks, between walls and buildings and stuff like that, which will obviously help in a lot of positions. The main thing you could do here, because of this wall that surrounds it, it's made out of small brushes. Now these small brushes, when blocked by a large occlusion block, won't be drawn. So for instance, I've put a lot of large occlusion blocks throughout the wall, the outer wall here. So if you're inside the base, all of the brushes on the outside will not be drawn. They'll be blocked by these large occlusion blocks. That'll definitely help our play frame rate. So when you're in the base, it won't be as frustrating. Out on the ship, I've also put some occlusion blocks here along the inside of the ship. That also helps to improve the frame rate. Now when you use occlusion blocks to help your frame rate, you must know that there's not going to be absolutely amazing differences. There's going to be a great difference, it'll help. You'll notice in gameplay that the frame rate improves, but you're not going to go from the red to the green. It's going to give you improvements, but not that kind of an improvement. It's going to be a little bit subtle. Now here we are in the base. This is without the occlusion blocks. You can see that we're in the yellow going to the red throughout the inside of this space, so the frame rate would be pretty bad. But a pretty solid yellow, and then going towards the red. A good place to place occlusion blocks in here, the walls on all these buildings, covering stuff in the inside, but keep the occlusion blocks, the smaller ones you use, away from windows and doors. That way you don't get a lot of objects popping in and out. Now let's take a look at the same map after we put some occlusion blocks in. Now I didn't do a whole bunch, but I did do the outer wall and a couple inside. You will notice it's in the yellow, but we are going a little bit more towards the green here. That's going to make a difference. Anywhere where you get out of the red and towards the green is going to help. So even though the difference on the meter isn't that great, gameplay-wise, you will notice a difference. There'll be less amount of frame rates being dropped, and you won't notice the screen being as choppy when you play, which will make gameplay easier, and you'll be able to shoot your opponents. So I hope that was helpful. This is Jet Black Bebop. Happy map making, and I'll see you guys out there.